Yo, what's up fan base, and your eyes do not deceive you. This is the continuation of the tag series between me and Kirisho. I do apologize for this video taking so long. So many things have gotten in the way of me, and I have to say I am honored to be tagged to do one of the series that Kirisho himself had mixed feelings about. A lot of you don't know, but in the background Kirisho has a lot of regrets about his Conduit series, and he's trying to see if I can do just as good, if not better, than he did. Well, buddy, this will be rounding out round 1 of our tag series. Let's see, what do I want you to end this round on? Oh, I know. How about you do a special power from one of my favorite series that I enjoy? Why don't you do What If Deku Had Death Dealing from Bleach? Also, to the loyal fans that think the tag series is done after this, oh no, we already have plans for round 2 far into the works. But now I feel like I'm stalling, so why don't we roll that intro and get into it?
I honestly don't think you can become a hero.
The sounds of loud explosions could be heard. If you were to look over the horizon, you could see the crumbling ruins of Island as the battle could be heard from down below. But that's not where Izuku was focused, as he was sitting on top of a bunch of rocks at the highest building on the island. This battle could be over if you would just let my people live in peace, but you won't let that happen, will you, Crawler? You know I didn't want this, but you can't take an entire nation and act like a terrorist and think I won't take action. I wish things can go back to how it was when you and I were fighting side by side in the cruel streets of Japan. You don't even call me by my name anymore, or have you forgotten it? I haven't forgotten, but if I call you by that name, I might hesitate, and at this point there's no going back. The conduits will have their home to feel safe and not to be placed in prison cells. The only reason why some conduits have been contained is because they're doing stuff that is inspired by you. You are encouraging them by your acts of terrorism. The Battle of Camino was one of the worst, and then you attacked Tartarus. I've given you time and time again a chance to turn back and help lead your people to better times, so please just surrender. Don't make me have to hurt you. Izuku gets up from his chair as sparks of electricity seem to be coming off of his body. Hurt me. Nobody can hurt me anymore. I've tried doing things your way, and yes, it had some success, but more people feared us just from existing. I have watched my people be slaughtered just for being conduits, or what's the word that you allow people to call us? Bioterrorists? The crawler tightens his gloves as he gets into a stance ready for battle. I've never called you a bioterrorist. You're always going to be my friend, and your people are called conduits. If you would have just given me more time, I could have gotten you more help. Izuku shoots a bolt of lightning at the crawler, watching his former friend slide around trying to avoid his strikes. Your friend got one of my closest friends killed because he betrayed us. I thought I could trust him just like you did, but just then, when I let him know where we were hiding, he revealed his true nature. Do you know how many children of the conduit species were lost that day? Crawler increased his gliding speed, trying to get around the bolts of lightning. As he was dancing around a few bolts, trying to close the gap between the both of them, he was also trying to condense some of the gliding energy into his hand, trying to get close enough for a solid punch. Trust me, I know the number, and I regret that every day, but that man is now in prison. He will answer answer for his crimes. Crimes? You mean genocide. And the worst thing is, those who are not conduits act like that man is unjust for being put in chains. They would throw him a parade if they could. If I could make it back to Japan and attack that person, his head would be mounted over my fireplace. As both of them start throwing attacks, keeping some kind of form of mid-range distance, lightning, energy, pulse being sent out, only for the crawler to finally close the distance and land a heavy blow right in the center of Izuku's chest, sending him flying off the edge of the building. Crawler quickly dashed towards the edge, getting ready to leap after Izuku, not wanting him to die this way. I know, and I'm sorry, but I can't let you get revenge. Look at what it's made you do. The moment you kill him, you'll feel empty inside. And you might get worse. At least in this situation, there still might be hope for you. I want to hope for that, so please let me help you once again. As he finally leaps, using his gliding energy to fly into the air, hoping to close the distance between him and Izuku before they hit the ground. Just let me save you. Izuku, on the other hand, used the last of his electric energy to shoot into the side of the building, making a bunch of smoke. Once the smoke got near him, he started to absorb it as his body started to change composition. As he used the smoke to propel himself into the air past the crawler, he then started to shoot out little smoke bombs. After reaching a certain height, he started to go into freefall with a wicked smile on his face, seeming to be coming down like a smoky meteorite trying to crash right into the crawler. I don't need your saving. My people need me. I used to believe that we could coexist, but those days are long gone ever since I activated the Raid Spear. So why don't I show you the true power of the Conduit King? I call this move Orbital Drop. Crawler tried to move out of the way but failed as Izuku crashed into him as they both hit the ground like an explosive bomb, leaving the crawler in a crater while Izuku reformed himself from the smoke. As it sunk in yet, your ability is powerful, but it is limited to one style, and since I've seen you use your ability for a long time and have fought against it multiple occasions, I know your strengths and I know your weaknesses. Crawler gets up slowly as he tries to gather himself, feeling some of his bones pop back into place as he tries to stretch. Yeah, it is an unfair advantage that you have, but there's one thing: I also know your weakness. Quickly holding up his hand like a little gun, shooting off some small barrage of bullets, seeing that some were hitting and others seemed to just go right through Izuku. As smoke was starting to leak off of him, Izuku starts to stumble back from the energy bullets, even though he keeps on trying to get away from them. They were just too fast as he starts to feel the energy that was within him starting to slip away as smoke started to fade. I have to say, you definitely focused on the weakness of regular conduits, but you forgot one thing. And what's that? I am a different breed of conduit. He quickly whistles at a high frequency as he noticed something running their way at a very fast speed with a bright pink trail behind them. Right on time. Crawler grits his teeth, thinking he's about to deal with two conduits at once as he steadies himself, getting ready to use his speed to his advantage, only for the pink blur to rush right past, moving at the speed that surprised him. But what confused him even more is that they just kept on running, not turning back or helping. What the heck was that? Did you just get betrayed? Izuku chuckled as he held out a neon lamp in his hand as it seemed to be hooked up to a small generator. No, she was just playing delivery. Roller's face contorted into shock and a little bit of fear as he realized that he was tricked and quickly tried to close the gap and smash the lamp, only for him to be too late and notice that the neon energy was fully absorbed as Izuku speeds out of the way, trying to stop his momentum to turn and look towards his opponent. Crap, and here I thought I was going to at least have the speed advantage. Izuku was moving at crazy speeds, leaving a neon trail behind him, zipping moving around the battlefield, stopping until he stood on top of a water tower, still within the distance of the crawler's view. Well, if you would have attacked my ally before he zoomed past, you would have been right. Not many of my abilities allow me to move at this speed, and I know that you're insanely fast, but as long as I'm able to use Neon, I think I can outspeed you and hit you from a long range. As he holds down his hand to make a similar gesture like the crawler, he points his fingers like a gun and starts to shoot off a massive neon laser at him. So why don't you see if you can truly close the gap now? Crawler was able to dodge out of the way by the last second, gliding around the surface at fast speeds, trying to get around the neon laser. You know, times like this remind me of when you first used Neon. We used to do tricks in the air together. I even remember our races. We never got to fully figure out who was the fastest because we kept on getting interrupted. Izuku hung his head in sorrow, remembering those days as he continued to shoot off lasers, trying to keep the distance. Every time Crawler would get close, he would just quickly zip off to another building. I know, those were simpler times, but I think you truly knew that I would win. Then why don't we test out that theory of yours? Izuku shot off one last laser as the both of them made eye contact and then both stared towards the airport and then back at each other, nodding as they knew where the finish line was. Izuku started to run towards the airport, moving at quick speeds like a flashing light, but not too far behind him was the crawler, seeming to be able to keep up with Neon's speed. As they were having their race, they got a glimpse of the battlefield, watching the heroes alongside the Conduit task force trying to take down conduits, and conduits trying to take down heroes and vice versa. It looked like a bloodbath that would never end. Adults fighting against children, family fighting against family. It was chaos as both men continued their race. It was almost like they wanted to run away from the battlefield, not wanting this to be real, like they were trying to chase after a forgotten dream. And once they were both shoulder to shoulder, moving at such fast speeds, they started to throw punches at one another, both getting in some solid hits until they punch each other in the face, causing them to spin out of control and crash into separate buildings. Izuku landed in a gift shop full of hero merch as he could see a figurine of All Might dangling on the shelf. I remember times when seeing shops like this would probably be the happiest day of my life, but looking at them now gives me so much misery. Getting himself out of the rubble, he starts to walk out of the store, absorbing some of the neon light from the open sign that still seemed to be functioning. How long are you going to act like you're dead in there? Crawler, who was physically dazed, looked around and realized that he crash-landed into a clothing store. Looking around reminded him of his early days of when he first started being a vigilante, battling alongside his friends Popstep and Knuckle Duster. As he pulls himself out of the debris, gliding towards the hole that he entered from, he looks down at the ground and recognizes a fiber mask, as it makes him remember the time he trained Izuku, fully coming out of the store, seeing his old friend slash enemy. Sorry for taking so long. Not all of us can crash through a building and brush it off, but I do understand what you mean. The nostalgia of these stores that we crashed into definitely brings out old memories. Yeah, it definitely does. I didn't get a chance to ask before we started fighting, but how is Pop? I hope you didn't bring her to the battlefield with you. She's fine. We're actually engaged. As much as I wish I could say she's nowhere near the battlefield, she wouldn't let me leave home without her. What about you? Where is Momo? Is she still stuck somewhere in her digital ways? Congratulations on the engagement. I don't know if you're going to actually make it to the wedding though, because if you're so busy fighting me, how are you going to make sure she survives? Keeping you occupied gives her a higher percentage of survival, and don't avoid my question, where is Momo? She is here. Where she is exactly, I don't know. But since there's a lot of screens and places that have Wi-Fi on this island, your guess is as good as mine. But keep your eyes out for digital demons. You know how she has a thing for flair. Not really comforting knowing that she has the entire network under her control. But like I said, this battle is between you and we still need to get to the finish line. That way, when I defeat you, you have no excuse. He starts to dash away, heading towards the airport once again. So try to keep up. Izuku chuckles as he dashes off to catch up with the crawler. It doesn't take him long as he starts to take a little bit of a lead as the both of them start to see the airport coming into view. Looks like the finish line is almost in reach. As they continue to run up and down buildings and through the street trying to get closer to the airport, the crawler has to slow down once he starts getting surrounded by devils that look like they came from a video game, and Izuku has to jump away from Popstep trying to kick in his head. Don't worry, Izuku, I'll keep him distracted with my devils. You take the opportunity whenever you see it to kill him. Pop bounces on her feet trying to keep Izuku's attention. Over my dead body will you ever be able to kill Koichi? Both men stand there looking at each other in the eye, both knowing the truth of what needs to be done. Momo, get your devils out of the way. This is a fight between me and the crawler. You women have no right to interfere. He's right, Pop. Go help somewhere else. This is a battle between me and him, and I'm not going to let you stand in the way of that. Momo's demons start to glitch and contort as one of them changes into a fantasy succubus with a skimpy outfit and devil-like horns, along with a tail that sways back and forth. You can't be seriously thinking that I'm going to let you fight him alone. There's a chance he could kill you. He knows all of your tricks. Hopstep bounces on the heels of her feet, ready to fight Izuku. Yeah, I can't let you fight this bioterrorist. He's seen all of your tricks. He's going to eventually use your connection to him to throw you off, and it just takes one slip up and you're dead. And I swear to you, I can't have that on my conscience, so please let me help you. And like I said, Pop, this is personal. If you haven't noticed, he's been focused on me. Our fight needs to conclude before he can do anything else. And you can't be saving lives knowing that there's a chance I could be running around without you chasing after me. Izuku turns his head towards Momo's succubus avatar. I'm serious. I can handle him by myself. Go help the others. I need you to get out of the way, Pop. Go help the front line and regain morale. I can see things are getting out of hand and try to stop unnecessary bloodshed. Oh, and by the way, they're not called bioterrorists, they're conduits, and this one has a name. Isn't that right, Izuku? You're really annoying vigilante turned hero crawler, or should I just say Koichi? Looking around, he walks over to the edge of a building, looking down and sees a neon sign and starts absorbing the neon energy. I see that you're not going to attack me while my back is turned. That chivalry of yours might come back to bite you. Crawler walks past the digital constructs and past Popstep. Like I said, no excuses. We have to finish this. I feel by the time we finally reach the airport, one of us with the stronger ideas will finally be able to save the day. Please, don't do this. He's just going to try to kill you. I don't know what this race truly means between the both of you, but I just can't lose you, Koichi. Momo was silent for a few seconds, contemplating about what she should do, only for her demons to attack Popstep. Fine, I won't intervene, but that doesn't mean she gets a free pass. The demons start to swing their weapons at Pop, trying to skewer her, but Pop uses her ability to start jumping out of the way, trying to make as much use of the limited space on top of the building. The crawler tries to slide over and give her assistance, only to be stopped by Izuku, who has a new pep pep in his step from the fresh neon absorption, kicking him across the roof and flying into one of the nearby buildings. Let the ladies have their fun and focus on me, as he starts to dash away, heading towards the airport once again. Because if you don't and I win this race without you being nearby, I'll be free to basically kill every one of your allies. Brawler cracked his neck, feeling like his bones were rattled with that kick, seeing that Izuku was starting to get a major lead on him. But then he looked back at the battle between Popstep and Momo and chose to chase after Izuku. Sorry, Pop, just survive long enough for me to make it back. Brawler uses his quirk at maximum output to start flying into the air, trying to pick up some more speed to make up for his moments of hesitation, and decides to take a page out of Izuku's book and rockets down right towards him. Izuku looks back and sees that the crawler is about to crash right into his back. Not enough time to get out of the way, he slows himself down by turning and putting up his arms to block, as he's forced into the ground at hyperspeed from the collision, causing the both of them to eventually come out of the ground and bounce onto the ground and slide as they were on opposite sides of the street, literally one intersection away from the airport, as the both of them struggle to get back onto their feet. I call that one my gliding impact. I call it a cheap knockoff of my orbital drop. The both of them just looked at their goal, literally one crosswalk away from them. It would be like seconds, but for some weird reason the both of them seemed to be glued in place. The crawler looked at Izuku with pleading eyes. Izuku looked at the crawler with dead eyes filled with the weight of his decisions. Before we make the final dash, mind if I ask you why you agreed our final goal should be the airport? I felt like it was fitting. I think we both agree that we wish we can get on a plane and fly away from this entire situation and go back to the peaceful times we used to share. You know, there's one person I regret killing. Could you guess who it is? Bakugo. Yeah, you know, you'd think I would feel happy for all the shit he used to give me, but seeing what he became to the people of Tokyo made me change my mind. If it wasn't for that monster gas, maybe he would be racing alongside us. As a hero, I am not perfect. There is also a life on my hands that has stained them red. She was a good soul. Maybe if she could have been here to help us bridge the gaps between humans and conduits, we wouldn't have to have this race either. Izuku felt a chill in the air as he reached into his coat pocket and pulled out a pack of cigarettes. As he put one in his mouth, he used neon laser to light it. Oh, you're talking about Jiro. Yeah, her music used to calm the savage beast within us all. But of course, the Conduit task force had to lie to you, and when she pleaded for you to understand in all the chaos that was happening, you made a choice and put a hole straight through her heart. That's not exactly how it went, but I don't expect you to believe me. As he holds out his hand for a cigarette, Izuku quickly complies and gives him one and lights it for him. Thank you, but her face will always haunt my nightmares. Don't ever think that it won't. She was the one person I couldn't save. Izuku flicks his cigarette as he enjoys the burn, feeling that it gives him help to realize he's still alive. Murder is still murder. You don't get to try to pretty it up by telling a different side of the story and then feel bad about it. Roller flicks off some of the ashes from his cigarette. Is that what you tell yourself when you think of Bakugo? He left me no choice. He had Momo at gunpoint. It was either him or her, and I choose her. As the both of them finished their cigarette, getting into a sprinter position, knowing that the final dash will truly decide everything. Sure, it was wise move to switch out smoke for neon. For all you know, I didn't even absorb smoke. I could still have neon. Let's play this little game of chess. 5 seconds to change it all. 5 seconds to cross the street and see who makes it to the other side. As the both of them take off, but that's where I'm going to leave leave it off this time, guys. I hope you enjoyed this trailer. This trailer was long overdue, but please make sure to leave a like and comment down below. And please check out Kirisho's channel, and with all that said, I'm out. Peace.